is ignorance an excuse?
Well, I mean, legally, it's not. Regardless of what law is being broken, and the ignorance is not a defense for law breaking. But particularly with this kind of law breaking, I think all that truth that you just mentioned speaks to is the importance of holding those people at the top accountable. I don't think it's enough, for instance, to lock up the people that storm the Capitol if we're not going to lock up the people who encourage them to do it. I mean, they have got to be punished as well. And in fact, one of the best ways to ensure that other people don't do that kind of thing again, even if they have some of the same political beliefs and the sort of MAGA ideas, but to keep them from actually engaging in terrorism, the best way to do that is to take out the head of the organization, so to speak, by punishing them and holding them accountable, because then they will see that not only will they potentially be in trouble, but the movement that they support at some level ideologically is also going to be broken. And perhaps they'll figure out a different way to make their political case and make their political argument. Maybe they'll try to join the ranks of normal political discourse, which would be fine if they're willing to do that. Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson used to be part of that, used to try to make their points in a relatively above board and not overly, sort of seditious kind of way, especially Tucker. And he's now gone full MAGA because it pays, it makes money, right? I don't believe Tucker Carlson believes a lot of the stuff that he says when he starts, he's made positive comments about the Unabomber. He's made positive comments about, QAnon people. Do I really think that Tucker Carlson likes the QAnon people and would want to hang out with them? Of course not. But he knows that there are people listening, so it makes him money. He didn't used to be that guy. Ben Shapiro used to, I remember debating Ben Shapiro in an online forum back in like 2005. He was just like a typical Reagan Republican. Dinesh D'Souza, great example. I've debated him 7 or 8 times, and he was just a typical Reagan Republican. And now he's, starts off doing the Obama birther stuff with his film many years ago. And now he's, full scale MAGA, election stolen, all this nonsense that is in his latest film, the 2020 Million Mules film, or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
That they became that because that is what sold to that base. So the base needs to be held accountable so that the leadership and the spokespeople realize that if they encourage these people to do this, it's not going to help the movement. They're going to end up being punished for it. And the people at the base need to see the people at the top held accountable in some ways as well, so that they get the idea that there's got to be a different way to do what it is that they do, to advocate for what it is they advocate. So I don't think we want to just hold the foot soldiers accountable, but they don't get off the hook just because someone is steering the ship, right? If you stay on that ship, especially after you've seen what it does. I mean, after January 6th, if you're still on that ship, and you're still engaged in this kind of incendiary, seditious, terroristic rhetoric, then you know exactly what you're doing. And so it's not about not having sympathy for people. It's not about not having compassion for people. It's about saying that I care more about the future of the country and the future of the planet than I do about, some QAnon influencers' feelings, or whether or not they get to live with their family for the next 20 years as opposed to living in a prison.